Hi, welcome to Pipes Brewery. We're craft brewers based here in Cardiff, and you're standing in our production facility where we make all of our beer. Today we're making a California Pale Ale. It's one of our more popular styles, and I'm just going to quickly run you through how we make our beer. Okay, so starting with the raw ingredients of beer, we've got water and we've got malted barley. The two of them combine in this tank here. It's called a mash tun, and this is really where the magic happens. So we're creating some simple sugars in this mash tun. They run off and it's then called wort. So this hot, sticky wort, very sweet, goes into what's called our copper. And in the copper here, it boils for about 60 minutes. We add hops, and the hops add bitterness and also aroma to the beers. And each beer is actually quite particular. Every recipe is different, okay? After it's boiled in there for an hour or so, it's sterile. We then pass it through a heat exchange, cooling that wort, and send it to one of these primary fermenters on the periphery. We add a yeast, a specific yeast strain. The yeast will then eat the sugars, creating carbon dioxide and alcohol. And after about 7 days or so, we've got what's called a green beer, okay? After that, we need to mature the beer for about 4 weeks or so before it's ready to be consumed. So I'm just going to head back into our maturation room. So we're in the cold store, and this is where the beer comes after it's been fermented into the green beer. So it then needs to mature because the yeast is still in suspension. As I mentioned earlier, our beers are completely additive and preservative free. Even the bubbles in our beer are completely natural. So what happens back here is the beer comes and spends a bit of time in these tanks. We're in our cold store. We make it as cold as possible, down to 2 degrees at times. The yeast will settle to the bottom of the tank, at which point the beer is then ready to be consumed. We'll rack to keg, the beer will go out to market, we'll fill bottles, as you can see, and this is really the end journey of the beer life cycle. It's taken about 5 weeks or so to get it to this point. Here we are in the grain store, and this is the essence of any beer. All beer is made up from malted barley, malted wheat, rye or oats, and this is really where the recipe is derived from. So we can make any one of our 20 different styles of beer based on a combination of these malts. The malts themselves, they all come from the UK, Germany and the Czech Republic, and this is pretty much the way that we brew. Most of our beers are German lager styles. We've got some pale ales in there also, and really we're spoilt for choice. There's about 20 different malted barleys here that we can pull off the shelf, put into a recipe, and away you go. You've got a different beer every single time. Thanks, Pedro. All right. Thanks for joining us on our tour of Pipes Brewery here today. Just a reminder also that we're open every Saturday, 12 till 7. First Saturday of the month, we have our bar open event where we have live DJs, our taps are working, you can buy a pint, we've got hot food, tables and chairs. It's a good event. So first Saturday of the month. You can find us online. We look forward to seeing you. Cheers, Yaki Da.